What is the tale of Shuten Dōji in Japanese folklore? In Japanese legend, an Oni, a demon, terrorized Kyoto. This yokai was not born an Oni, nor did he become one in the afterlife after his wicked life, like most Oni. No, he became the king of the Oni while still living on this earth. His story begins with a dragon, the eight-headed dragon, Yamato no Orochi. After its defeat at the hands of the kami, or god of the sea, Susanoo, fled to Omi. There, in its human form, met a human girl and made a child. It was a boy. His name was Shuten Dōji, which means little drunkard. The boy was not quite a normal human. He excelled at everything. He was very strong and intelligent, even at young ages. He was disliked by others for this, and was even labeled as a demon at this time. This affected the boy, and he became resentful of others, and he withdrew away from everyone after a while. Even his mother, perhaps the only person he had left, by age 6, abandoned him to his own devices. The boy, Shuten Dōji, now an orphan, and scorned by others as some type of demon, was taken in as a Buddhist acolyte at a temple in Kyoto. He was the strongest and smartest of his fellows, and naturally fell into fighting and drinking sake. He was resented by many at the temple, and so also became resentful again. One day, there was a festival, and the boy became very drunk, having consumed copious amounts of sake already throughout the day. He put on an Oni demon costume and mask, and proceeded to be mischievous at the festival, pranking others. There was just one problem. When he tried to remove the mask, he could not. No matter how much he tried, the mask would not budge, and had fused to his face. Scared and embarrassed, the boy ran away from his life in the monastery, from the people that resented him, to the mountains. Finally, he could be alone, not judged, free. He started to identify with the mask affixed to his face. He fell into banditry, stealing food and sake, and eventually became notorious to other criminals due to his demonic visage and skill. Soon, others sought him out and became his loyal followers. His numbers grew, and after some time, Shuten Dōji and all his followers transformed fully into Oni, demons. It was around this time another demon child joined his group, Ibaraki Dōji. She became Hijo, or female Oni, his most loyal follower, and some say his lover. Shuten Dōji grew, both physically and magically. He became gigantic, towering over all other Oni. He mastered dark arts, dark magic, and taught it to his followers. He became king of Oni, powerful, frightening. His countenance was terrifying. He soon set his sights on the city of Kyoto, and he and his gang settled in the area surrounding Mount Bowie. He plotted, and in a drunken rage, his gang began raiding the city, kidnapping noble women and carrying them back to his dark castle in the mountains. There, they would commit all kinds of atrocities upon them, from drinking their blood, eating their organs, to other, more horrible things better left to the imagination. In all, many people started to go missing in Kyoto. Reports of the missing reached the emperor, and after determining it was the Oni King abducting the women, he needed a solution. There was a man at the time with a reputation, a warrior named Minamoto no Yorimitsu, or Raiko, and his Shiteno, or 4 lieutenants. They were already renowned for slaying yokai. Amongst his lieutenants was the renowned Kintaro, large and strong, a hero in his own right. But would it be enough to overcome an army of Oni? Raiko needed a plan. It may very well be suicide to take on the Oni head-on, and a plan fell in his lap. He encountered 4 men who were actually kami, who recommended the men dress as ascetic priests and offer the Oni sake that was poisoned to incapacitate the demons. Raiko and his men took the recommendation to heart, disguised themselves as priests, and carried the sake to the Oni camp to parley with the demons. When they reached the camp, kidnapped women were there, and they were told the women were being eaten. They convinced the demons to give them accommodation. They were even invited to meet the Shuten Dōji, the boy who had become a demon, the demon who had become king, the king who had now mastered evil. Shuten Dōji was more than happy to share his tale with the newcomers, regaling how he was called the sake-drinking lad by his followers, and other stories. Raiko, seizing this opportunity, offered the poison-laced sake to the demon lord. Shuten Dōji, for his love of sake, was quick to accept and consume the offering. After a while, their plot came to fruition, and the king gradually slinked lower in his throne and eventually fell asleep completely, unconscious and unable to move. That night, the heroes, who had concealed weapons and armor in their packs, donned their equipment and found the sleeping demon. They held him down, 1 person on each limb, while Raiko went to the head. Raiko held his blade, the legendary Tachi sword, Dojigiri, with strength, and with precision, he struck the head of Shuten Dōji clean from the body of the Oni. But this was not the end of the demon. The head, still alive, tried to bite Raiko's head. The hero defended himself and wore 2 additional helmets to deflect the fangs of this onslaught. The group subdued the head and slew the Oni in the camp, as they were now leaderless and far less threatening. They carried the head back to Kyoto, and at a temple there, it was finally buried and laid to rest, ending the reign of Shuten Dōji, the Oni King. Yet, his legacy lived on. Soon, there were whispers of another Oni stalking the gates of Kyoto, a Kijo demoness, an evil shape, prowling the shadows, getting ready to strike, perhaps out of revenge. Also, a woman, now freed from her captivity in the Oni camp, traveled to a village. She was with child, and there she gave birth to a child named Kido Maru. This child carried the blood of the legendary king of the Oni, for he was his son. He became like his father in many ways, but that is another story. The Oni's legacy continued in Japanese folklore.